Welcome to Everyday English Podcast, a beginner-friendly podcast for improving English skills with simple English. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic, the hidden psychology of motivation.
That's right. Understanding motivation is so important, especially in our fast-paced world. It affects everything we do, from personal goals to professional success.
Exactly. When we explore what drives us, we can unlock new ways to achieve our dreams. It's all about understanding those deeper layers of motivation.
And we have an amazing guest today who will help us unpack this topic. They have extensive experience in psychology and have worked with many individuals to enhance their motivation.
Yes. Our guest is a leading expert in the field. They've conducted research and shared insights that can really help us understand how motivation works.
I'm excited to hear their thoughts. Motivation isn't just about willpower, it's influenced by so many factors, including our emotions and social environment.
Absolutely. And understanding these factors can help us not only in our personal lives but also in our careers. It's about finding what inspires us.
So, let's get started. We'll explore the different types of motivation and how they impact our daily lives.
So, diving deeper into motivation, let's start with a clear definition. What exactly is motivation?
Great question. Motivation is essentially the driving force behind our actions. It's what pushes us to set goals and strive to achieve them. In both personal and professional contexts, understanding motivation can really shape our success.
Right. And it's fascinating how motivation influences our daily choices. But, I think it's also important to highlight the different types of motivation. Can you break that down a bit?
Absolutely. There are two main types, internal and external motivation. Internal motivation comes from within us. It's driven by personal satisfaction or the joy of achieving something. On the other hand, external motivation is influenced by outside factors, like rewards or recognition.
Oh, that makes sense. So, for instance, someone might pursue a hobby because they love it, that's internal motivation. But if someone works extra hours to get a bonus, that's external motivation, right?
Exactly. And both types can be effective, but internal motivation often leads to more sustained effort and satisfaction. It's about finding what truly inspires us.
Interesting. And speaking of inspiration, our guest today has a wealth of experience in this field. They've worked with individuals and organizations to enhance motivation and performance, right?
Yes. Our guest is a renowned psychologist with over 15 years of experience. They've published several studies on motivation and have even developed programs to help people tap into their internal drive.
That's impressive. Their insights could really help us understand how to cultivate that internal motivation. I wonder, what practical strategies do they suggest for individuals looking to boost their motivation?
Well, one strategy they often mention is setting small, achievable goals. This helps build momentum. When people see progress, it fuels their motivation to keep going.
Oh, I see. So, breaking down larger goals into smaller steps can make the journey feel less overwhelming. That's a great point.
Exactly. And they also emphasized the importance of self-reflection. Taking time to understand what truly drives us can lead to more meaningful goals.
That's so true. Self-reflection can really clarify our values and what we want to achieve. I think that's a vital step many overlook.
Definitely. And our guest has also worked with teams to improve motivation in the workplace. They focus on creating a supportive environment where everyone feels valued.
Creating that kind of environment can really enhance team dynamics. It's not just about individual motivation, but how we support each other, right?
Exactly. When people feel supported, they're more likely to take risks and pursue their goals. It's all interconnected.
I can't wait to hear more from our guest about these strategies. It sounds like they have a lot of valuable insights to share.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it. Understanding motivation is such a crucial part of personal growth and success.
So, let's talk about external factors that influence motivation. One important framework is Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Oh, yes. Maslow's theory is really insightful. It outlines different levels of needs, starting from the most basic to the more complex.
Exactly. At the base, we have physiological needs, right? Things like food, water, and shelter. Without those, it's hard to focus on anything else.
Absolutely. If someone is struggling to meet their basic needs, motivation can really take a hit. It's like, how can you think about self-actualization when you're worried about where your next meal is coming from?
Right. And then, once those needs are met, we move up to security and safety needs. This includes financial security and health, which are also crucial for motivation.
Definitely. Feeling safe allows people to take risks and pursue their goals. It's a foundation for building confidence.
And then there's the need for love and belonging. Social connections can really boost our motivation. When we feel accepted and valued, we're more likely to strive for our goals.
Exactly. Relationships and community support can be powerful motivators. It's like having a cheerleading squad that encourages you along the way.
And moving up the pyramid, we have esteem needs. This includes self-esteem and recognition from others. Achieving goals can really enhance our sense of worth.
Yes. When people feel valued and recognized, it can drive them to achieve even more. It's a positive feedback loop.
Finally, we reach self-actualization, which is all about realizing our full potential. That's where intrinsic motivation really shines, right?
Exactly. Intrinsic motivation comes from within. It's about doing something because you find it fulfilling, not just for external rewards.
So, it's like pursuing a passion or a hobby for the joy of it, rather than for recognition or money.
Yes. And that's often where people find the most satisfaction. It's important to balance both intrinsic and extrinsic motivations.
That's a great point. Understanding these different layers can really help us identify what drives us and how to support our motivation.
Absolutely. And it also highlights how interconnected these needs are. If one area is lacking, it can affect everything else.
For sure. So, how can someone start to identify which of these needs are unmet in their own lives?
Well, self-reflection is key. Taking time to think about what feels missing can be really enlightening. Journaling might help.
Oh, I love that idea. Writing down thoughts can really clarify feelings and highlight areas for growth.
Exactly. And once you identify those needs, you can take steps to address them, which can boost overall motivation.
Such a valuable discussion. It really emphasizes the importance of understanding both external factors and internal drives.
Yes. And it's a journey, right? Everyone's path to motivation is unique, but knowing these factors can guide us.
Now that we've discussed the types of motivation, let's dive into the role of emotions in motivation. How do you think emotions drive our motivation?
Oh, emotions play a huge role. They can either propel us forward or hold us back. For instance, feeling excited about a goal can boost our intrinsic motivation, while fear of failure might push us to seek external validation.
That's a great point. So, if someone feels really passionate about something, that internal drive can lead to greater satisfaction, right?
Exactly. And on the flip side, emotions like anxiety can make it harder to stay motivated. It's all about finding that balance and understanding how our feelings impact our actions.
Right. And that brings us to conditioning and learning theory. Can you explain how these concepts relate to motivation?
Sure. Classical conditioning is about pairing a stimulus with a response. For example, if you reward yourself after completing a task, you start associating that task with positive feelings. It's like training your brain to seek out those rewards.
Oh, I see. So, if we consistently reward ourselves, we can create a habit of motivation. What about operant conditioning?
Operant conditioning involves reinforcement and punishment. Positive reinforcement encourages behavior by adding a reward, while negative reinforcement removes something unpleasant. Both can effectively increase motivation.
That makes sense. And what about punishment? How does that fit in?
Good question. Positive punishment adds an unpleasant consequence to discourage behavior, while negative punishment removes a pleasant stimulus. But, generally, focusing on reinforcement is more effective for motivation.
Interesting. So, it's really about encouraging the positive rather than just avoiding the negative. Now, let's touch on social cognition and motivation. How does social influence come into play?
Social influence is powerful. It can come from peers or authority figures. For example, if your friends are all pursuing their goals, that can motivate you to do the same. It's about the energy around you.
Yeah? So, is that where things like peer pressure come in?
Absolutely. Peer pressure can push us towards certain behaviors, whether we want to or not. But it can also be a positive force when surrounded by supportive people.
Right. And how does attribution theory fit into this?
Attribution theory looks at how we explain our successes and failures. If we believe we can succeed, that self-efficacy boosts our motivation. It's all about mindset.
So, having a growth mindset can really change the game for motivation, right?
Definitely. When we view challenges as opportunities to grow, we're more likely to stay motivated.
Let's shift gears a bit. What practical tips can listeners use to boost their motivation?
One effective strategy is goal setting. Breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable steps can make a big difference. Celebrating those small wins keeps motivation high.
Oh, I love that. Tracking progress can also help, right?
Exactly. It's all about recognizing how far you've come. And developing self-motivating habits, like setting a routine, can really enhance your drive.
And in professional settings, how can we enhance engagement in work teams?
Creating a supportive environment is key. Encouraging collaboration and recognizing individual contributions can really boost motivation in teams.
That's so true. And what about overcoming procrastination?
A common struggle. One tip is to start with just 5 minutes of a task. Often, getting started is the hardest part, and once you begin, you might find it easier to continue.
That's a great strategy. Now, looking ahead, what do you think the future of motivation research holds?
Emerging trends like neuropsychological approaches and technology, such as wearable devices, could really change how we monitor and understand our motivational states.
That's fascinating. It sounds like there's so much potential for new insights. As we wrap up, what key points should our listeners take away?
Understanding the interplay between emotions, conditioning, and social influences can really help us harness our motivation. And remember, it's a journey.
Absolutely. We encourage everyone to apply these insights in their daily lives. And don't forget to share your experiences with us using hashtag Hidden Psychology of Motivation and hashtag Mind Over Matter.
Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found this discussion helpful.
Yes, thank you. Stay motivated, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.